Hey, friends of the Paradise. Heidi here. I'm the executive director of the Paradise Center for the Arts, and I am reading books. This is one of the things that I love to do. So today we're going to read a book that's a little bit longer. So it's maybe a book for kids who have a little bit more of an attention span. As you can see, it's pretty long. So it's called Lafcadio, the Lion Who Shot Back, and it's by Shel Silverstein. There's not a lot of pictures in this book, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the pictures, but rather than hold it up like this, I'm going to hold it a little differently so that it's easier for me to read because there's lots of words. It says, even your old Uncle Shelby once had a teacher. His name was Robert Cosbay. This book is dedicated to him. And now, children, your Uncle Shelby is going to tell you a story about a very strange lion. In fact, the strangest lion that I've ever met. Now, where shall I start this lion tale? This lion tale. I suppose I should begin at the moment that I first met this lion. You see, that was in Chicago on Friday, the 17th of December. I remember very clearly because the snow had just started to slush and the traffic was very bad on Dorchester Avenue. And this lion was looking around for a barber shop, and I was just coming home from, no, I suppose I should start the story long before that. I suppose I should tell you about the lion when he was very young. All right. Chapter 1. You can see really closely. And now I'm going to read to you. Okay, make this a little easier. Once there was a young lion, and his name was, well, I don't really know what his name was because he lived in the jungle with a lot of other lions. And if he did have a name, it certainly wasn't a name like Joe or Ernie or anything like that. No, it was probably more of a lion name, like maybe Grogruff or Rogruff or well, anyway, he had a name like that, and he lived in the jungle with the other lions, and he did usual lion things, like jumping and playing in the grass and swimming in the river and eating rabbits and chasing other lions and sleeping in the sun. And he was very happy. And one day, I believe it was a Thursday, after all the lions had eaten a good lunch and were sleeping in the sun, snoring lion snores, and the sky was blue, and the birds were going caw, caw, and the grass was blowing in the breeze, and it was quiet and wonderful. And suddenly, blam! There was such a large sound, and all the lions woke up fast, jumped straight in the air, and they started to run lickety-split, lickety-clipped, or clippity-clop, or clippity-clop, or however. No, wait, that's the way horses run. Well, they ran whatever way lions run. I don't know, maybe even pippity-pat. Anyway, they all ran away. Well, almost all. There was one lion that did not run, and that is the one that I'm going to tell you the story about. This one lion, he sat up and blinked and winked in the sun and stretched his arms. Well, maybe he stretched his paws. And then he rubbed the sleep out of his eyes and he said, "Hey, why is everybody running?" And an old lion who was running by said, "Run, kid, run, run, run. The hunters are coming." "Hunters? What are hunters?" said the young lion, still blinking in the sun. "Look," said the old lion, "you'd better stop asking so many questions and just run if you know what's good for you." So the young lion got up and stretched and began to run with the other lions. Pippity-pat, or was it clippity-clop? I think that we've gone through all this before. After he had run for a while, he stopped and looked back. "Hunters," he said to himself. I wonder what hunters are." And he said the name hunters over and over to himself. Hunters. Hunters. And he liked the sound of the name hunters. You know the way some people like the sound of the words Tuscaloosa or tapioca or carioca or gumbo. He liked the sound of the word hunters. So he let all the other lions run ahead, and he stopped and he hid in the tall grass. And soon he could see the hunters coming, and they all stood on their hind feet. I'll show you a little closer. And they all wore nice little red caps, and they all carried funny sticks that made loud noises. And the young lion liked their looks. Yes, he liked their looks. So when a nice hunter with green eyes and one tooth missing in the front passed by the tall grass with his funny red cap that had some egg salad on it, by the way, the young lion stood up. "Hi, hunter," he said. "Good heavens," cried the hunter, "a ferocious lion, a dangerous lion, a roaring, bloodthirsty, man-eating lion." "I'm not a man-eating lion," said the young lion. "I eat rabbits and blackberries." "No excuses," said the hunter. "I'm going to shoot you." "But I give up," said the young lion, and he put up his paws in the air. "Don't be silly," said the hunter. "Who ever heard of a lion giving up? Lions don't give up. Lions fight to the end. Lions eat up hunters. So I must shoot you now and make you into a nice rug and put you in front of my fireplace. On cold winter evenings, I will sit on you and toast marshmallows." "Well, my goodness, you don't have to shoot me," said the young lion. "I'll be your rug. I'll lie in front of your fireplace and I won't move a muscle. And you can sit on me and toast all the marshmallows you want." "I love marshmallows," said the young lion. "You what?" said the hunter. "Well," said the young lion, to be absolutely honest with you, I don't know if I really love marshmallows or not because I've never tasted one. But I love most things and I love the sound of the word marshmallow. And if they taste like they sound, I just know I'll love them. "That's ridiculous," said the hunter. "I have never heard of a lion giving up and I've never heard of a lion eating marshmallows. I'm going to shoot you now and that is that." And he pulled his funny stick up to his shoulder. "But why?" said the young lion. "Because I am," said the hunter. And he pulled the trigger and the stick went click. "Was that a click?" said the young lion. "Am I shot?" Well, as you can imagine, the hunter was very embarrassed about this and his face turned as red as his cap. I'm afraid I forgot to load my gun," he said. "I guess the joke's on me. Ha, ha, ha. But you'll just have to excuse me for a moment. I'll put a bullet in and we'll go on from there." "No," said the young lion, "I don't think I will. I don't think I'm going to let you put a bullet in, and I don't think I'm going to let you shoot me. I don't think I want to be your rug, and I don't think that you're a very nice hunter after all, and I think I'm going to eat you up." "But why?" said the hunter. "Because I am, that's why," said the young lion. And he did. Well, after he'd eaten the hunter all up, he ate the hunter's red cap, but it tasted sort of woolly, and after he'd eaten up the red cap, pooh, doesn't it just make your mouth feel funny to think about eating a red cap? He tried to eat up the funny stick and the bullets, but he couldn't chew them. And he said, "Well, guess I'll keep this as a souvenir." And he picked them both up in his teeth and he carried them back to the other lions. Now, the other lions were all sitting around telling stories about, who was the fastest in running away from the hunters and who was the bravest and who was the fiercest and other lies like that lions like to lie about. And when the young lion walked up to them carrying the funny stick, and they all jumped up and said, "Yow-wee, yow, and wow, and where did you get that gun?" "Gun? Gun? What's a gun?" asked the young lion. "That's the stick they shoot us with," said the old lion. "Now take it out of here and throw it away. It gives me goosebumps just to look at it." Now, wasn't that a silly thing to say? Imagine a lion getting goosebumps. That's almost as silly as a goose getting lion bumps. So the young lion sadly walked away with the gun in his teeth. "I wonder," said the young lion to himself, "I wonder how they shoot this thing anyway." So he picked up a bullet in his teeth and he pushed it into the gun with his nose and he shoved it into the barrel with his tongue. Then he stuck his left tooth in the trigger and he tried to shoot it, but he couldn't. Then he stuck his right tooth in the trigger and tried to shoot it, but he couldn't. And then he tried to pick it up with his paws and shoot it with his claws, which was even sillier. And he tried to shoot it with his whiskers, and all he got out of that was tired whiskers. And then he stuck his tail into the trigger, and he pulled as hard as he could, and the gun went boom! And all the other lions jumped up in the air again and started to run away. "Hey," said the young lion, "stop running. It's only me. And I have shot the gun." Well, I tell you that when the other lions found out it was only the young lion making all that noise, they were very angry. "You had better forget about shooting," they said, "and stick to lioning where you belong. But the young lion was very happy about shooting the gun. And you know what he started to do? Well, every afternoon while the other lions were sleeping, he would sneak away over the mountain and he would practice and practice for hours and hours until finally one day he was able to lift the gun up in his paws. After he practiced and practiced for days and days until finally he was able to shoot the gun. But of course, he wasn't able to hit anything except for the sky. And so he practiced and practiced for weeks until finally he was able to hit the big mountain. And he practiced and practiced for months and months until soon he was able to shoot the waterfall. And soon he was able to shoot the cliff. And soon he was able to shoot the trees. And soon the coconuts off the trees. And then the berries off the bush. And then the flies off the berries. And then the ears off the flies. And the dust off the ears. And finally the sunlight off the dust. And do you think he was a good shot? Well, just the best shot in the world, that's all. Just the best shot in the whole world. And what did he do for ammunition? Well, every time he ran out of bullets, he just went out and ate up another hunter and took his bullets and went back and practiced some more. And then one nice day as he was practicing, the young lion heard some shooting from the other side of the mountain. And I don't have to tell you what happened. All the lions started running again. "Where are you running?" asked the young lion. "Look," said the old lion, "we have gone through this before. You had better just give up. Stop asking so many questions and move." So the young lion moved. But after he'd been running for a while, he stopped and he said to himself, "Hey, why am I running away?" And then he sat down in the middle of the jungle and he began to shoot back at the hunters. Boom! Boom! And suddenly, guess what? There were no more hunters left. And after a while, all the other lions came crawling out of their hiding places, and they couldn't believe their eyes, and they said, "Hey, what's going on around here? Anyway, and hey, what's happening? And golly gee," and stuff like that. And they were all surprised and happy, and they all had lunch, and then they laid down and slept. With the sun in their faces, and smiles on their faces, and little bits of red wool on their whiskers. And the young lion, well, he was the happiest of all because he had piles and piles of new ammunition. And all the other lions said that he was the greatest lion that they'd ever seen, and they had seen plenty of lions. So all the other lions lived a very happy life and slept all afternoon and played in the sun and floated in the river and all had a very good time, and they never worried about anything because every time hunters came to shoot, why, that young lion shot right back at them. Boom, bum, bim, bim, bam, until there were no more hunters left. And then, when the men came into the jungle to find out what happened to the hunters, bim, bam, boom. Pretty soon, there weren't any more of the finder-outers left. And when men came to find out about the finder-outers, boom, bam, bim. Pretty soon, there weren't any more of the finder-outers about the finder-outers. And pretty soon, no men came into the jungle at all. And it was nice and quiet, and all the lions were fat and happy, and all of them had nice hunter rugs. But then one rainy afternoon, while the young lion was practicing some very fancy shooting, like standing on his head and shooting with his teeth and his toenails and his elbows with one eye closed behind his back, sideways and even upside down, a little, fat, bald-headed man came walking through the jungle. And he had on a tall, funny hat and an elegant vest and a gold watch with a gold chain and shiny shoes and a droopy mustache and a big fat belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of raspberry jam. And he carried a gold-headed cane. And you could see that he wasn't used to walking through the jungle because he kept getting caught in the branches of the trees and kept tripping over roots and kept stepping into puddles, and he kept saying, "Oh, oh me, oh my, hey, it's hot, darn mosquitoes," and achoo, stuff like that. Well, now the lions didn't hear him coming until the very last minute because although lions have very good ears and they can hear things from far off if their ears are washed, that is, but if their ears aren't washed, they can't hear much better than you and I can. And to tell you the truth, I don't think lions wash their ears very often because wash rags are very hard to get in the jungle. And soap costs 10 cents. And most lions don't have 10 cents. And even if they did, they couldn't buy a bar of soap because who would sell a bar of soap to a lion? I mean, if a lion came knocking on your door and had 10 cents in his paw and said, "May I buy a bar of soap?" would you sell him a bar of soap? Well, so you can see why these lions didn't hear too well, but they saw him coming. And I'll tell you one thing, lions Lions' eyes are very good and they can see very well in the dark. And it happened to be in the middle of the afternoon anyway. So lions see extra special well in the middle of the afternoon. And you never see a lion wearing glasses anyway, do you? Well, when the lions saw the little man coming, they didn't even bother to run. They just called out to the young lion, "Hey, dinner's here." And then they rolled over and went back to sleep. And the young lion, he just yawned and picked up his gun. I think I'm going to shoot this one standing on my head with one eye crossed and three paws tied behind my back, he said. And he aimed his gun. "Wait a minute. Don't shoot me," cried the man. And the young lion said, "Why not?" And the man said, "Because I'm not a hunter. I'm a circus man, and I want you to come and be in my circus." "Circus, schmirkus, dumminurkus," said the young lion. "I don't want to be in a cage in your old circus." "Oh, you wouldn't have to be in a cage," shouted the circus man. "You can be my trick shooter." "Shooter, schmooter, scooter, booter," said the young lion. "I'm already a great shooter. I am the greatest shooter in the jungle." And he aimed his gun again. "But you can't make lots of money, and you can't be the greatest shooter in all the world, and you can be famous, and you can eat wonderful foods, and you can wear silk shirts and yellow shoes and smoke 50-cent cigars and go to wonderful parties and have everyone pat you on your back or scratch you behind the ears or whatever people do with lions, I don't know. Ears, shears, glass of beers," said the young lion. "What do I want with all that stuff?" "Well, everyone wants all that stuff," said the circus man. "Come with me and be rich and famous and happy and be the greatest lion in all the world." "Well," said the young lion, "if I do come, will I get a marshmallow?" "A marshmallow?" said the circus man, waving his gold-headed cane and twirling the golden watch on the golden chain. "A marshmallow? My good fellow, you will have thousands of marshmallows. You will have marshmallows for breakfast and marshmallows for lunch, marshmallows for supper, and you know what you'll have in between meals?" "Marshmallows?" asked the lion. "Marshmallows," shouted the circus man. "I will build you a marshmallow house, and I will get you a marshmallow mattress for your bed for midnight snacks, and I'll make you a marshmallow suit with a marshmallow hat, and when you take a shower, you will take a shower with hot melted marshmallow. Why, you will have more marshmallows than any lion in the world. Shall I sing you the marshmallow song? Marshmallows, marshmallows, marching marshmallow, mallow, mallow, marching fellows, marshy, marshy. I'd rather you didn't, said the young lion. Well, it's really not too bad of a song, said the circus man, considering that I just made it up. Well, anyway, pick up your gun, pack up your suitcase, and let's go to the big city. I don't have a suitcase, said the young lion. Too bad you aren't an elephant, said the circus man, because then you could pack up your trunk. Ha ha. That's a pretty corny joke, said the young lion, even for the jungle. Humph, snorted the circus man. All right, well, pick up your toothbrush and let's get out of here. I don't have a toothbrush, said the young lion. No toothbrush, said the circus man. Well, how do you brush your teeth? I don't brush my teeth, said the young lion. You don't brush your teeth? Said the circus man. What does your dentist say about that? I don't have a dentist, said the young lion. You don't have a dentist? Said the circus man. Well, then who... Look, said the young lion, if you want to go, I'll go, and I'll do anything rather than listen to all your terrible jokes. So the circus man got on the lion's back, and they marched out of the jungle. You're sure about those marshmallows? Said the young lion. Absolutely sure, said the circus man, and away they went. Well, finally, after traveling for many days and nights, they came to the city. And oh, it wasn't anything like the jungle. There were lots of people and tall square things that looked like hippopotamuses that moved very fast with people inside them. What are those? Said the young lion. Oh, those are cars, said the circus man. Can I have a car? Asked the young lion. Can you have a car? Said the circus man. Why, you will have a car made of pure gold with silver wheels and diamond bumpers and marshmallow seats. And hey, said the young lion, what are those tall things with the windows in them? Those are buildings, said the circus man. Office buildings and apartment buildings and store buildings and school buildings and roller skating buildings. Can I have a building? Said the young lion. Can you have a building? Well, I'll get you the tallest, widest marshmallow building that you've ever... And then the circus man yelled, taxi, taxi, and he waved his gold-headed cane and he whistled with his taxi whistle that hung from his watch chain, and a big taxi stopped. Take us to the Grumbacher Hotel, said the circus man. Wait a minute, said the taxi driver. Is that a lion with you? Well, of course he's with me, said the circus man. Yeah, well, I'm not taking no lion with me, said the taxi driver. He couldn't speak English very well, because if he could have, he would have said any. No, sir, he said, I'm not driving no lions around. Grrr, said the lion. Hop in, gentlemen, said the taxi driver with a big smile, and away they went. Now, when they got to the hotel, they jumped out of the taxi and they went to get a room. Give us a nice room with a nice bathtub, said the circus man to the hotel man. And a nice marshmallow bed, said the lion. Listen, said the hotel man, you had better go somewhere else to get a room. This is a very fancy hotel and I don't want any lions living here. Grrr, said the lion. I'll go right up to your room, said the hotel man, and then went to the elevator. Now the young lion had never been in an elevator before because, they don't have elevators in the jungle. But he just loved the elevator. And when the elevator stopped and the elevator man said, all out, 14th floor, the lion said, let's go up and down again. I want to go up and down again. But this is your floor, said the elevator man. You have to get out here. Grrr, said the lion. And so the poor elevator man had to drive the elevator up and down until at last he felt very, very sick and said, please, please, can we stop? I hate elevators. And the young lion said, grrr. And the elevator man said, let's go up and down a few more times. I love elevators. And finally, after everybody was very, very quiet, the lion and the circus man got off the elevator and went to their room. And when they got inside, the circus man said, well, which side of the bed do you want? Well, it doesn't really make much difference to me, said the young lion. I've never slept in any bed, so I'll just sleep in the bushes if it's all the same to you. There are no bushes, said the circus man. And besides, this nice, soft bed is softer than any old sticky old bushes. Why don't you just lie down and try it? So the young lion did. Doesn't that feel good, said the circus man. Isn't that nicer and softer than any old bushes? Well, said the young lion, it certainly is different. Now, come into the bathroom and take a nice hot bath, said the circus man. You smell like an animal. Am I going to take a bath in nice melted marshmallow like you promised? Asked the young lion. Well, not right now, said the circus man. We'll save that for later. Well then, said the lion, I guess I'll just take a bath in the river the way that I have been doing. River, said the circus man. There are no rivers running through hotel rooms. Why don't you just get in that nice big bathtub full of hot water? Don't you have to take your clothes off before you get into these things? Asked the young lion. Of course, said the circus man. Well, said the young lion, I don't have any clothes to take off, so I guess I just can't get into the tub. Nonsense, said the circus man. You get right in that tub. And so the young lion put one toe in the tub and he said, Yow! That is the hottest bathtub I've ever been in. This is the only bathtub you've ever been in, said the circus man. Isn't this much better than taking a bath in some dirty old river? And the lion just settled into the hot water and said, well, it certainly does taste different. Gulp, gulp. Stop drinking the water, screamed the circus man. That is to wash with, not to drink. Oh, I'm sorry, said the young lion, but now I think I would really like my marshmallow. All in due time, said the circus man. Right now we have to get you looking like a real gentleman's sharpshooter. So please get out of the tub and dry off. So the young lion sighed and climbed out of the bathtub and got dried with a big white fluffy towel. And he dried off his claws and he dried off his mane and he even dried off the tip of his tail, which is very hard for a lion to dry, as you know. Now, said the circus man, you smell 100% better. Now run down to the barber shop while I take a little nap. And also get some clothes to wear. We can't have you running around absolutely naked. Well, okay, said the lion, but I've never really thought of myself as naked before. Now, it took the young lion quite a while to get downstairs because he made the elevator man ride him up and down 46 times. And then finally, he got outside and he began to look around for a barbershop. But he couldn't find one because he didn't know what a barbershop looked like. As a matter of fact, he didn't even know what a barbershop was. So he just walked around and looked for a barbershop while all the people looked at him and said things like, wow, and yow, and zowie, look at that Adeline, which means zowie, look at that lion. And that was just about that time that your own Uncle Shelby was crossing the street on my way to get a hot dog with some tomatoes and onions on it when the young lion walked up to me and said, excuse me, could you please direct me to a barbershop? Well, you can imagine how surprised I was to hear a lion ask me a question like that, but I said I would be glad to take him to an excellent barbershop, and he seemed very pleased. Thank you very much, he said. You are the nicest person I've met since I've been in this country, and also you're very, very handsome and very well dressed, and you look like a man who is very intelligent and very kind. In fact, said the young lion, I should think you should be the president of the United States. No, I said, I don't have time to be president of the United States. I'm too busy writing stories for children. But it is true that I am very handsome and very intelligent and very kind. I will admit to that. So I took the young lion to the barber shop, but the barber was out to lunch. So we just sat in the barber chairs and chatted for a while. And I remember the lion had his claws manicured and he liked it very much, although the woman who gave him the manicure said that she'd never seen such filthy nails in her whole life. Oh my, how you would have laughed if you would have seen him sitting there in that barber chair with his long mane hanging down and his paws sticking out from under the sheet getting a manicure. I'm just only sorry you couldn't have seen him. As a matter of fact, I did see you walking by the barbershop with your mother just about that time, and I tapped on the window, but I guess you didn't hear me because you were looking at a fire engine and you didn't even turn around. Would you like a shoe shine? Asked the shoe shine boy. As a matter of fact, I would, but I don't have any shoes, said the lion. Well, how about a paw shine? Asked the shoe shine boy. Yes, said the young lion. I think I would like a paw shine. Very much. So the lion had his paws shined, and he was very pleased with them. And he asked me if I didn't think that they looked very beautiful and shiny, and I said yes, but to tell you the truth, I think that his paws didn't look much different than they had before they were shined, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And finally, the barber came back from lunch and said, oh my gosh, I must have eaten a